Hello! Today's video is on multiplication. Multiplication is an operation that's commonly represented by a cross-like symbol, like this one, a dot, or an asterisk-shaped figure. Multiplication is actually just repeat addition. So if we were to see a problem such as 4 times 3, what you're actually being asked to figure out is what is 4 plus 4 plus 4, which equals 12. As you can see, we're adding 3 4's together to equal 12. Multiplication has a couple of similarities with addition. For example, both addition and multiplication have a commutative property, which just means that just like how 4 plus 3 in addition equals 3 plus 4, 4 times 3 in multiplication is the same as 3 times 4. Addition and multiplication also have associative properties. So, for example, if we have an equation like 7 plus 5 plus 6 in parentheses, that would be the same as having 7 plus 5 in parentheses, and then adding 6 afterwards. For multiplication, this is very similar with 7 times 5 times 6, with 5 times 6 in parentheses, equaling 7 times 5 in parentheses, multiplied by 6. So now let's move on to multiplying by 0. So you see from the few examples written here, 1 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and 3 times 0 is 0. Now what you'll find is that if you multiply any number by 0, 0 will be your result. Because this would be similar to adding 1 0 times, or adding 2 0 times, or adding 3 0 times. If that helps make more sense for you. Now on to multiplying by 1. As you see here, if you multiply any number by 1, whether it be 3 or 5, 1,000 or 0, you will get that number as your result. Multiplying by 1 is the multiplicative identity. which just means that if you multiply any number by 1, you get the other number. Okay? Addition has a similar property. But instead of multiplying by 1, you're adding by 0. So, for example, 7 plus 0 equals 7. Or 9 plus 0 equals 9. So as you see here, the additive identity means that you're adding 0, while the multiplicative identity means you're multiplying by 1. Another way, or another name for these identities is the identity property of addition for these examples, and the identity property of multiplication, as you can see with these examples. Now let's skip ahead a bit to multiplying by 10. So when you multiply by 10, you'd be adding 10 the same number together. So if I were to say 2 times 10, you keep adding 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and you keep adding 2's until you ended up with 10 of them that you're adding together. So when you add them all together, all of these 2's, you get 20 as your result. A trick to multiplying by 10 is to add a 0 at the end of what number you're multiplying 10 by. So for example, if you 10 times 14, which we discussed earlier was equal to 14 times 10. Your answer would be 14 with a 0 at the end, like this. So your answer is 140. You had 3.2 times 10 is a little different than just adding 0 to the end of it, because you have a decimal point in your problem. In this case, you'd have 3.2, and you move the decimal point over to the right, which will then give you 32. Now, when I say these two tricks are slightly different, that is only because we usually don't write the decimal points when we are dealing with whole numbers. So really, if you want to think about it, is 140 that we got earlier up here could be written like this. We start with 14, and we know 14 equals 14.0. Move that decimal point over to the right, one space, and then we still have 140. Same thing with this 20. We'd have the 2 like we started with the point 0 at the end, and move that decimal point over one space to the right, and then we get 20 again. So as you see, multiplying by 0, 1, and 10 really isn't that bad. In this next video, we will start going over multiplication tables for multiplying by 2, multiplying by 3, and multiplying by 4. Thanks for watching.